This episode of the ABIG podcast is brought to you by Meta Beauty Science. Hello and welcome to the ABIG podcast, your online support community for the aesthetic and beauty industry. Here, we're strengthening and unifying the industry through representation, innovation, and education. This is a platform created and dedicated to the aesthetic and beauty industry, valuing unity and advancement. We serve to represent, support, and inspire you by connecting you with industry experts, expanding your knowledge through educational pieces, and bringing you the latest industry news. This is the ABIG podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller, and today's guest is Dr. Tina Mehta from Meta Beauty Science. Dr. Mehta's passion for science and medicine has shaped a remarkable career that began in cardiology and transitioned to dermatology, where her fascination with the complexities of human skin found its home. In 2009, she founded Meta Beauty Science, driven by a desire to challenge conventional skincare. Today, her innovative brand spans over 30 countries, with treatments offered in more than 10,000 clinics worldwide. A true pioneer, Dr. Mehta introduced the use of peptides for forehead wrinkles, integrated prebiotics and probiotics into treatments, and was among the first to harness epigenetic and neuro-cosmetic ingredients to advance skin health. Here to share her expertise as we discuss pigmentation challenges and sun-safe solutions for Australian clinics, from Meta Beauty Science, today we welcome Dr. Tina Mehta. Welcome back to the podcast, Tina. How are you today?
Thank you so much for inviting me, Stephanie. I'm so pleased to be here and really honored by the invitation.
Oh, we always love having you, and we always love talking to you. You're such a wealth of knowledge and, a true expert and pioneer in your field as well. And for all the listeners today that the first time hearing about you and your story, please tell us about your journey and how you got into the beauty and aesthetics industry.
Oh, thank you so much. I am a founder of Meda skincare brand, as probably you guessed already. But I started my journey to the industry in the mid of 90s when I started to work as a cardiologist. And working as a cardiologist, I've been a part of the research team, working with women suffering from congenital heart diseases. And my role was to follow them and to see how they are doing after giving birth. And I was very young doctor, very passionate about the cardiology, and absolutely sure that appearance doesn't matter, because I was, like serious educated woman shouldn't care about your appearance. And yes, I love dermatology, but psoriasis and eczema and things like this. And I discovered a whole new world that was such a breaking moment for me, because when I met these 70 young women, all of them suffering from life-threatening diseases and having new babies. And I suppose they'd be concerned about their health perspective. Babies, they've been concerned about their skin, cellulite, pigmentations, wrinkles, acne, and they literally negotiated with me. Like, yeah, I give you an information in exchange of good acne cream. Can you make it for me? And I could, because it was my hobby. I love dermatology, and I just created, even in the school, I was known like a lipstick queen. So I created lipsticks myself. And I just started to make some preparation for them, and everyone liked them. And they started to recommend me to their friends and to their friends. And after this, I went to my own maternity leave. And I just went out from maternity leave and went for dermatology specialization and became dermatologist. And very quickly, I found myself in the industry. I started as a cosmetic safety expert. So my role was to evaluate the safety of skincare product. And I still have this mindset of cosmetic safety expert. I am bad in marketing, like zero knowledge about marketing, only, kind of common sense. But I am cosmetic safety expert, a professional expert in cosmetic safety. So every formulation I create, it's coming from this mindset. And I happily worked for big companies and professional skincare like Talgo and Swiss laboratory Cell Cosmet. Probably it was the most expensive professional skincare in the world in the beginning of 2000s. But one day I found two new category of cosmetic ingredients, peptides and probiotics. There was one day on the conference which changed my life. And I was so excited because, first time in my life, I've seen something what was more efficient than traditional ingredients and in the same time, absolutely safe. Because before I was sure then efficiency comes with a price. Because yes, retinol is amazing, but we have side effects, right? Salicylic acid, glycolic acid, hydroquinone. And finally, you have peptides, which is signaling molecules, which is able to literally tell skin cells to do something like relax the skin or stop to produce as much of melanin. I want you to produce less. And they do it because it is kind of biochemical language. And in the same time, there's no systemic effects, there's no skin sensitization, they're absolutely safe. And probiotics, it was a completely new world of the microbiome, which we discovered is an essential part of our skin, which our skin and our body delegates at least half of the functioning to our microbiome. So if you care about microbiome, you have results of the skin. I came to my big brands with an idea to create futuristic skincare because peptides and probiotics, they've been the future of skincare. I was absolutely sure of it, but it was 2007. And they told me, oh my God, Tina, leaving bacteria in the cream? Crazy.
Innovation sounds crazy sometimes, but
Absolutely. They
wow.
even told me that peptides will never be a mainstream ingredients in the skincare. Look at us now. They are mainstream. But time ago, they just refused to go with my idea, and I was so frustrated. I came home and I told my husband, I am a genius. It is a genius idea. And he told me, oh, okay, let's do it. Do it yourself. You are an expert. You can do it. And we sold our apartments and we invested everything in R&D.
Wow.
And in 2009, we launched the Meder brand, which was literally one product brand. We've got only one professional set for wrinkles treatment, Botox-like for pregnant breastfeeding women, based on peptides and probiotics. By the way, still best-selling and still called innovative after 15 years on the market. And we launched it, and absolutely unexpectedly, it became big. We sold more than hundreds of thousands sets around the world in the first 3 years. So we reinvested everything, and now we are a real brand. 35 home care product, 36 professional awards, 6 professional treatments exclusively for clinics. But it's all started with this crazy idea. And honestly, if big brands accepted my idea, I will never launch my own brand.
It is such an inspirational story. Taking your one product and within 3 years sold hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you say you're bad at marketing. I don't believe you. How did you
Actually, that
do
was
it?
no marketing at all. Literally, my husband designed the box and design of products.
So how
And
did you
I
get it
took,
out there?
no, and I took 5 pictures. I just bring the box on the beach. And we lived in south of France. I ran my clinic in south of France in Antibes. I took 5 pictures with very small camera. That was our marketing for first 2 years. After we hired photograph for 1,000 euro for photo session. That was all our marketing.
Wow, you are such an inspiration. You know what is truly innovative as well about you is that today we're actually here talking about Australia and Australian conditions, Australian suited skincare, and you're actually from halfway across the world. Where are you originally
Yeah.
from, Tina?
I'm from Estonia, the country far, far away, but paradoxically and surprisingly, the biggest Estonian community in the world out of Estonia living in Australia.
Really?
And
Well, that's
I
fascinating.
actually I was surprised before, and when I visited Australia first time, I understood why. Because Australia feels so familiar for me. Big space, nature, which is really, it's not so modern because as in Australia, you have this amazing nature almost intact. And in Estonia, we have a lot of forests and lakes, and we still have these wild animals. Yeah, and people are friendly, strong, independent, and very direct.
Mm.
It was a common thing between Estonian and Australians. People say what they think.
And that's
They are
wonderful.
not, yeah, they're not walking on eggshells. And I loved Australia from the very first minute.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We're not walking on eggshells, but we definitely are walking under some pretty intense sun, though, aren't we? We've got the harshest, I think, one of the harshest climates and one of the, suppose,
Yeah,
harshest
probably.
suns in the world. And today, I mean, we talked about wonderful things, but I was saying you're incredible because today you're actually here talking about how can we as Australians help our skin under such harsh UV conditions. And Australia has the most intense UV radiation out there. And we do have unique pigmentation challenges, particularly prevalent in our country. Can you tell us why?
It's really interesting because since it's true, then Australia has the harshest sun ultraviolet condition in the whole world. There are a lot of factors, and the sun in Australia is so intense. When I Googled last time, I discovered that, and it's becoming more intense in the last years.
Right.
And in Europe, the average ultraviolet index, for example, in Britain, when I've been living for 10 years, the average ultraviolet index measuring the intensity of the ultraviolet, it is 3 during the year. And we have like not more than 10 days of UV index, which is higher than 6 during the year. In Australia, in Queensland, the average UV index during the Queensland summer is 18.
Isn't that incredible?
It's incredible. It's so high. And World Health Organization recommend to stay at home when the UV index is higher than 10. But you cannot stay at home the whole year, right? And Australians are famous for their outdoor lifestyle, which is amazing. It's good for mental health. It's good for physical health. There's only one exception for the skin health, because intensity of ultraviolet is actually the radiation. We are speaking about the ultraviolet like light, but in Australia, you are affected by the real penetrating radiation. And another factor that Australian population, it's very much built from people of the first and second phototypes, because there's so many people with Celtic heritage who've been bring to Australia historically. And the skin of people with first and second phototypes is literally not protected from the ultraviolet because they are Viking hairs. They've been living and adapting for hundreds of years and maybe thousands of years to polar night. And I'm from Estonia. It is northern Scandinavian country. From November until April, we don't have ultraviolet. We have zero of ultraviolet. It's also dangerous for the health because we are suffering from vitamin D deficiency, from depressions. But it's such a huge difference for people genetically adapted to polar night to find themselves in Australia when it is really cosmic radiation affecting their skin. So it is the greatest factor.
How does this intense UV radiation contribute to things like pigmentation issues and changes in the skin? And we have such a huge case of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation in Australia to manage. I mean, tell us the effects. How does it contribute to that? And also, I think, obviously we've got a high prevalence of skin cancers as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Australia is famous for the high rate of skin cancers. And pigmentation, it's the biggest issue in Australian population, biggest aesthetic issue, probably. And the intense ultraviolet radiation, it's so high, then it is very difficult to protect skin from the ultraviolet. And it's worth to mention that all sunscreens are designed for health skin protection in the average European condition, with rare exceptions. There are Australian brands who are trying their best to create more intense and more efficient sunscreens, and they're doing a great job. They have amazing sunscreens, but that's no miracle because sunscreen cannot protect the skin for 100%. 100% protection can be offered only by the environment if you stay in four walls, under the roof, or if you wear some very non-transparent clothes. But you cannot wear the veil, so your face is exposed to the sun unavoidably. And with the very good sunscreens, your skin is protected like for 99%. And probably for healthy, not very sensitive skin, it would be okay. Because this 1% of the ultraviolet, your skin can adapt itself and use its natural protection. The biggest problem, it is the sensitization of the skin. And there are so many factors contributing for this sensitization, starting from the diet or sleep deficiency or lack of physical activity for someone, stress, higher cortisol level is circulating in your body, higher the risk of the photopigmentation because cortisol is pigmenting hormone. Cortisol stimulating melanin synthesis directly. But also the huge part of these triggers, they are skincare, paradoxically, because we are trying to do our best for our skin, but sensitizing it in the same time.
Right.
And intense traditional skin treatment is literally all photosensitizing. Once again, unfortunately, and it is okay to use like 1% retinol cream when you're living in Sweden, and it is not okay to use it in Sydney or Brisbane or Melbourne because this 1% of the ultraviolet is 20 times more than you have in Scandinavia or in Britain or even in Italy. So it is the greatest factor, by my opinion. And I think that's why it is so important, especially for Australian population, to use non-photosensitizing skincare. It is crucial.
Right. There's so many brands on the market that, I mean, everyone has ingredients in their skincare products that would cause photosensitivity and impair in some way, stimulate processes in the skin by causing temporary, short, acute inflammation processes. We have clinics all across Australia and salons all across Australia that offer, things like chemical peels, lasers, they all exacerbate pigment issues. But why is this so important, and what alternatives actually are there?
They're great methods. Chemical peels, lasers. I love chemical peels. I was peeler myself. I did thousands of them. Living in south of France, it was risky, but it was manageable. So first of all, obviously we cannot eliminate, we cannot deny the existence of these methods. But I think that clinics should pay much more attention to the balanced approach. First of all, even in Australia, there are periods of high risk of photosensitization and high risk of post-inflammatory pigmentation and lower risk. Probably it will be more difficult in Queensland, which is the sunniest place, probably, but it can be found that at least you should not do chemical peels in February, right? Find some time in the mid of the winter and try to manage the lifestyle. Another point, it is because I like to say, that skin has two sides. We care about external sides, everything what we apply, everything what we use, it affects internal side of the skin, penetrating more or less deeper. But inner side of the skin is contacting with your blood, is contacting with your immune system, nervous system, hormones, endocrine system. So you should care about this inner side as well. And the best thing you can do, it is improve your antioxidant protection. We can use antioxidant-based product for topical application, and I always recommend to do it during any kind of pigmentation treatment, because ultraviolet triggering the free radicals in the skin. So higher the level of your antioxidants, better will be your natural protection. And also antioxidant diet. And it is really easy because more colorful is your plate, more antioxidants you have in it, because all natural pigments, red, blue, orange, they are natural antioxidants. So eat more wax, eat more fruits, eat more fresh, healthy food. It will help. And good sleep hygiene. But also, I always recommend to be very careful. And if you're planning to treat the pigmentation with some intense methods, you should prepare your skin. And you should not go, like, okay, next day, go for laser. Skin should be properly prepared with antioxidant, anti-inflammatory skincare. And you should count down your skin to the maximum, because inflammation is a trigger. All the time, when you have even microinflammation in the skin, it triggers the melanin synthesis. So hyperpigmentation becomes unavoidable, especially post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So we should care not only about the ultraviolet. There are other factors: inflammation, stress, hormonal balance, your microbiome, and finally your antioxidant balance. If you cover all these 5 squares, if you tick every one of them, you will be fine.
So you're saying a pre and post regime of everything you've just talked about, and also picking the right time of the year. Of course, everybody that obviously does pigmentation treatments in their clinics, we know that winter is the best time to do it.
I always recommend to prepare the skin for at least 2 weeks, better for 1 month. And actually, we started with it when I got my first chemical peels training at the end of 90s. That was like, common sense, the mainstream practice, to pre-peel your skin for 1 month before going for chemical peels. But after people, practitioners, and our patients, everyone became so impassioned. Everyone wants a miracle tomorrow. And
Absolutely.
I think that probably we should stop to present ourselves like fairy godmothers. We are just people.
I love what you're saying. We are a bit gung-ho in the industry now. We favor an aggressive approach somehow in some way. A lot of heat-based modalities, a lot of let's hit it quite hard. But you're saying, the opposite. We need to care, nourish, nurture our skin, and work with our skin rather than try to shock it into action.
We should respect our skin. It is the largest organ of our body. You should not go with a laser fire to your biggest organ. Would you do it to your kidney? Probably not.
Probably not. We were talking off screen and earlier about some incredible ingredients, actually. Histamine, tranexamic acid, peptides, they're all gaining recognition in pigmentation treatment, over and above traditional type ingredients and treatments. Can you discuss a little bit about their role and how they actually address pigmentation safely and also very effectively?
It was such a revolution when histamine and tranexamic acid came on the market. Tranexamic acid was discovered absolutely otherly by gynecologists. Surprise, surprise, because tranexamic acid is used traditionally in the gynecology to treat bleeding, especially after birth. And they just noticed then pigmentation is doing much better in women who are taking oral tranexamic acid during a couple of weeks or slightly longer. And when they started to study it, that was found that tranexamic acid addresses the microinflammation in the skin. And when you stop the inflammation, you naturally brightens your skin. And in the same time, you get this prolonged action, because it's not only eliminates the excess of pigment, it also prevents the formation of pigment in the future.
Meta Beauty Science, founded by Dr. Tina Mehta in 2009, is the first microbiome-friendly, professional skincare brand. Combining bold vision with cutting-edge science, Meta Beauty champions natural, pain-free beauty. Their solutions are backed by extensive research, collaborating with cosmetic chemists, dermatologists, microbiologists, and geneticists to ensure safe, effective formulations. Each product is designed to work synergistically, delivering transformative results while supporting skin health. Discover the science of beauty at www.metabeautyscience.com.au today.
So tranexamic acid, it's one of the best ingredients, if you ask me. And it was amazing that it acts also efficiently when it's applied on the skin. For now, tranexamic acid is used in 3 forms. First, it's oral form, like medication, tablets. Second one, it is mesotherapy with tranexamic acid. And third one, it is a topical application of tranexamic acid. All of them have pro and contra. For oral form, the biggest pro, it is easy to take. No need of practitioners, right, to give you tablets 2 times a day. The biggest contra, and it is used for bleeding treatment. So it addresses not only the inflammation on the skin, it's also changed the coagulation of your blood. So it can increase the risk of thrombosis, unfortunately. So you should be very careful. You should monitor your blood coagulation markers to be sure that nothing happens. But for women who are suffering from some kind of troubles of coagulation, that can be an amazing method under observation. And it works really great, but it is, it's kind of niche because most of women, they are suffering from opposite, high risk of thrombosis, especially women who are taking their contraceptives. Because contraceptives are increasing the blood coagulation, so you cannot add tranexamic acid to contraceptive. So another method, the mesotherapy. Mesotherapy works just great with tranexamic acid. It's used largely, especially in India, in China, in Malaysia. They have great practical experience, but the problem is then you should get at least 12 sessions with an interval 3 days between them. So let's ask ourselves, be realistic, right? 6 weeks, twice a day, mesotherapy in the clinic. Costly. It's not possible. Realistically, it's not possible. And if you do it like once a week or once in a twice a week, it's pretty much useless. So the topical application method, it is a probably less intense treatment because with oral form or with mesotherapy, you can get rid of pigmentation in a few weeks. If you use the monotherapy by tranexamic acid in the cream, it will take maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, but it will be efficient, but it's literally no side effects. Another ingredient, cysteamine, was known to the dermatology since 70s. It is a great ingredient. It was no secret. It eliminates the pigment from the skin because it is one, how cysteamine works. It sounds a bit magic, but we should understand the biochemistry of melanin formation. At some point from dopachrome, when, all this formation from tyrosine via dopachrome with tyrosinase, it's coming to the point when we have this splitting. One pathway is going for the formation of eumelanin, dark melanin. Another pathway leading to the formation of gold pheomelanin, which is lighter. And our skin color depends on the ratio of eumelanin with pheomelanin. But what triggers the formation of lighter melanin? Actually, 2 very powerful antioxidants, glutathione, which is also used for the pigmentation treatment successfully, because being an antioxidant, it is a great protection, but in the same time, it changed this ratio in favor of golden pheomelanin, but also cysteamine. Cysteine, it's amino acid circulating in our body. It's absolutely skin identical, bioavailable. Why we didn't use it since 70s? Because it's awfully smelly. It's just unlivable. It's impossible. It smells like egg, which was left on the window for 2 weeks
Yes.
because it's impossible to use. It's sulfur based.
Like sulfur, yeah. I was gonna say.
Smells literally like a hell because supposedly hell smells like sulfur. So, and we waited until recent years when the new form of cysteamine was developed in some kind of capsulation. And now we are using this micro encapsulated form of cysteamine HCl, which is opening in the dermis level. So you don't feel the smell. The smell is still there, but it's very light. So
Wow.
it's only, it's only about sensoric. It was so unpleasant that despite an efficiency, we couldn't use it. But in the same time, it is an amazing ingredient because it's cysteamine protects our body from radiation, largely, from ionizing radiation, as well as from ultraviolet. So using cysteamine in the pigmentation treatment, you protect your skin from the ultraviolet biochemically. And another category is the peptides. Now we have more than 600 peptides registered for topical use.
Fascinating. 600 in how many years? I feel like it's about 15 years that, that they've become popular.
Something like that, because I found this first peptide, arginine acetyl-hexapeptide A, in 2007. It was a couple of years on the market. It was the very first one.
I remember.
And when we started in 2009, there have been 8 peptides registered. Now we have more than 600, and more than a dozen of them addressing the melanin synthesis differently. And some peptides which I picked to my formulation, they are peptides addressing the hormonal influence on the melanocytes, because cortisol, stress hormone, and estrogen, female hormones, they are triggering melanin synthesis. And that's, once again, unavoidable. If you have estrogen circulating in your body, you have a higher risk of pigmentation. That's it. And that's why contraceptives are increasing the risk of the hyperpigmentation, because estrogens. And why we have this pregnancy mask during the pregnancy, why the white line on our stomach becomes dark during the pregnancy, estrogens. And so these peptides, they are blocking hormonal influence on the melanocytes. So melanocytes hormonal receptors are binded with peptides. And that's amazing because, and also it's addressing only overexpressed melanocytes. So if your melanocytes produce the right amount of melanin, that's fine. If they're overexcited and they're producing too much of it, you block it. And also another generation, it's another category of ingredient, probiotics and prebiotics. And it is one of the most exciting discovery of the last year, so-called brightening microbiome. So now we understand microbiome better, but there's still a lot of news about it. I just been in the Microbiome Congress in San Diego, and I've been listening, speakers speaking about electrogenic bacteria, who produce electricity in our skin. And so there are a lot of new things. And one of them is brightening microbiome, because actually it was found then in dark spots, melasma, sunburn, pregnancy masks, everywhere, the microbiome is significantly different from the microbiome of non-pigmented skin. And that's a prevalence of 7 strains of inflammatory bacteria in the skin with discoloration. Among them, Staphylococcus aureus, Cutibacterium acnes, pigmenting strains. That's one of the reasons why we have post-inflammatory pigmentation in post-acne element. So, and they found that in healthy skin with an even skin tone, that's a prevalence of 6 antioxidant strains of bacteria. Fun fact about it, factoid, then 3 of these 6 bacteria have been found in Greek yogurt. Can you imagine?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's one of my favorite foods.
That's good. And it's good to eat it every day. It helps your skin to protect itself. against the hyperpigmentation, but also these yogurt extracts, they're good to prevent the pigmentation in the skin and even to treat the pigmentation. But we've been thinking that yogurt brightens the skin because of lactic acids. Actually, not.
No, actually not.
No.
And I was actually asked the other day, oh, is it good to put a Greek yogurt mask on your face?
Yes.
And I started laughing, and today we're talking about that very same thing.
It's funny. It's really, like a home treatment, which is absolutely primitive, non-expensive. And you see the proof. I know nothing about the marketing. Yes, you can put the yogurt on your skin. That's the skincare brand founder tells you.
Skincare brand founder tells
Yeah.
you DIY approaches at home.
DIY, yeah, DIY
I suppose
approach.
it's a rudimentary method, but whatever
Yeah,
it takes. I tell you what, I just talking to you now, I'm thinking about barrier strengthening ingredients and the importance of barrier strengthening in pigmentation management. Tell me
absolutely.
some of the key products or ingredients you can actually really consider for specifically for strengthening your barrier.
Ceramides in the first place. Essential fatty acids, which you can find in the olive oil, in the shea butter, in the macadamia oil, in the sweet almond oil, so in many of organic oils. Also, it would be urea because it's water holding ingredients, and as well as other water holding ingredients, starting from really simple one like glycerin and going to hyaluronic acid or carrageenan or even aloe vera leaf juice. It's
Yeah.
water holding, it is antioxidant, it is anti-inflammatory. Great ingredients for all products if you want to protect your skin efficiently against ultraviolet. And also squalane. So I will vote for squalane all the time.
Oh yes, Squalane's an incredible product. Tell us a little bit about this. Is an amazing product and it's also a really cool name, Luminoderm. Why it's
Yeah.
particularly suited for Australian climates and also the summer season where you're saying the UV is extremely high in Australia.
Luminoderm is coming from the light because it's enlightening the skin. I worked on the pigmentation treatment for years because I never wanted to whiten the skin or to lighten the skin. All I wanted to find a way to reveal the natural skin color and to restore the healthy skin pigmentation because actually I believe that healthy tan exists. I know it sounds very controversial now, but healthy tan, it is our natural body reaction to protect us with melanin, which is amazing substances, one of the most powerful antioxidant, which acting like a solar battery on our skin. It's scattering energy of the radiation, transforming it to the heat, which is good for our skin sometimes. So it just, we don't have enough of this natural protection. So my whole idea was to restore the healthy ratio of dark and golden melanin and to restore the healthy melanin production. So simply speaking, I don't want to destroy melanin, I want to control melanin. And finally, when cysteamine, tranexamic acid, and peptides, it all came on the market, it was possible technically to realize this idea. So I combined cysteamine with tranexamic acid with specific peptides binding hormone receptors. One of them, which I'm using in the cream, called X-Pure Beta White or cosmetic drone, because it's interacting directly with melanocytes, picking only overexpressed melanocytes. And also I'm using this probiotics and prebiotics to restore brightening antioxidant microbiome. And actually licorice. I love licorice. And I know Australians love licorice. It's famous. Swedish and Australian love to licorice. It's legendary. And it is also an antioxidant treatment for the skin. But if
And
you
brightening
use
as well, lightening, yes.
yeah, and when you combine them all together, and I added the shea butter for the skin protection,
Oh,
it
delicious.
comes with this naturally brightening skin solution, which help to reveal skin color in all skin types, from first phototype to 6 phototypes. And it's not sensitizing the skin, it is opposite. It strengthens your skin barrier. It improves your skin resilience. You can use it during the sunny season, improving your natural skin protection against ultraviolet. So you can brighten the skin, and in the same time, you can improve how your sunscreen works on your skin. And yes, it takes longer than hydroquinone to brighten the skin, because hydroquinone, it is most efficient whitening treatment on the whole planet Earth. There's a lot of side effects why it's banned in Europe or in Japan. But it takes maybe 2 or 3 weeks to see results with hydroquinone. With Luminoderm, it will take, you will see first change in 5-6 weeks time. In 8 weeks, you will see the new skin color is much more even. Maybe it will take 12 weeks or 14 weeks, but it's like 3 months, maybe 4 months to restore your even skin tone. But the best thing about it, then all traditional treatments, they increase the risk of secondary hyperpigmentation.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, you lighten your skin and you sensitize your skin in the same time. With Luminoderm, you brighten the skin slower, but for once, you will be good after. All you need is to use a prevention, and prevention is simple. We made the special mask, which you can use twice a month to prevent the pigmentation and never think about it anymore. So that was my whole idea. And I am really happy that we have already 3 professional awards for the best pigmentation treatment in this year. And
congratulations.
yeah, and we've been finalists for Get the Gloss Professional Award for the best pigmentation treatment. Results will be announced tomorrow. So I hope we will get something,
Well,
but it is
fingers
great to
crossed
be
for
in
you.
finals.
By the time we go live with this podcast, you will have won.
I hope, even if we'll not win, I will be happy because, you know, there are 4 finalists from 111 pigmentation products in the year. It feels great to be one of the 4 best pigmentation products amongst more than 100.
Well, that's huge. Tina, tell us what we can do as Australian practitioners to balance effective pigmentation treatments with the sun safety element, because now we're all listening to your words and thinking, okay, we really need to be even more cautious than we were before.
First of all, I will say you should minimize the skin sensitization. I am not saying you should not sensitize the skin at all, because I understand it is impossible. It is not realistic, because most of the technologies and methods and products which are in common use in the industry, they are sensitizing. They've been created in Europe, most of them. So Australia is just unfortunate to be under this intense cosmic radiation. But you should be more careful because of that. Second thing, I think then you should be more strategic in the pigmentation treatment. Because what I see now, people are using tactic. Let's do today something which will get you results tomorrow. And we will not think about after tomorrow, right? After tomorrow never comes. We should think about day after tomorrow, not only about today or tomorrow. We should not really motivate people, because we should educate people. The skin is the largest organ of the human body. If you've been experiencing the pigmentation in the last 3 years, we cannot eliminate it safely in one day. Technically, it's possible. Laser will just burn this bloody melanin all out, but you should pay the price after. So to be on the safe side, I will say we should prepare the skin. We should discuss the lifestyle. We should discuss the diet. We should even recommend the right supplementation for people looking for efficient and safe pigmentation treatment. And after, like in 1 month's time, when you prepare your patients, even if you use Luminoderm and you want faster results, you can go for laser treatment of elements of pigmentation, of dark spots, of melasma. It would be much safer. But obviously, you should use the most efficient sunscreens and to educate people how to behave after the pigmentation treatment. You should not go on the beach, unfortunately. You should not surf in the middle of the
No,
day. No, I know how addictive it is. I love it. But if you are a surfer, you should surf probably only on the sunrise.
absolutely. I hear you. I hear
Yes.
you. I love surfing. No, I'm just
Yeah.
joking. I wish I could surf. Tina, I can't believe you do. Good on you.
Yeah, actually, I'm extremely bad surfer, but I love it. I'm absolutely bad in it. I'm a swimmer, but surfing is like it's a passion which I am not doing well, but it's still a passion.
Oh
So
gosh.
it is a lifestyle limitation. We should educate people about it. Then you should not eat, kind of junk food if you want the great results, at least for a
Mm,
few weeks or months after your pigmentation treatment. You should eat healthily, you should sleep enough. The high stress period, it's not a great time for the pigmentation treatment, obviously, and for plastic surgery as well. It's impossible to fight cortisol. Mother Nature is stronger than you
yes,
anyway.
absolutely. And compromised healing in general. If you're in
Yeah.
a stressed state, your immune system is going to be affected and your healing process is going to be affected. So when you do thorough consultations in the clinics, it's so important to get the lifestyle and what's happening in the person's life.
Yeah, you should listen to people, to ask right questions. So my best advice, to be strategic, to be careful, and to use products designed to improve skin resilience.
Well, I have had so much fun talking to you today. Give us a quick 1 minute. What do you see in innovations in the future or breakthroughs even? Do you know anything on the horizon for pigmentation?
For the pigmentation, I think that probably we just launched this futuristic luminoderm cream and mask, and I believe it will be absolute mainstream in 2030. I think in 2030, everyone will use peptides, cysteamine, and tranexamic acid, like literally each brand.
Mm.
And also, I think that microbiome-based therapy for the pigmentation, it is our very realistic future. I met an amazing virologist and immunologist in San Diego conference, and they're working with phages for pigmentation treatments, especially for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So it is absolutely new perspective for an acne treatment or eczema or psoriasis treatment with the simultaneous treatment of the pigmentation. And I think that probably new probiotics will change our approach. And I really hope we will forget about benzoyl peroxide finally. Because literally, speaking with scientists working with microbiomes, they're asking like, it is true, then dermatologists are still recommending benzoyl
Yes.
peroxide.
Yeah.
No one can believe in it because it's so medieval.
I mean, that's one of the best-selling acne treatments, I think, over the counter.
And it works, but it kills the microbiome. It is toxic.
Absolutely.
So
Talking about hydroquinone, talk about cytotoxicity. I mean, you're talking about
hexylresorcinol.
recalcitrant pigment. I mean, these are realities, rebound pigment. People think, oh, I've treated your pigmentation. What happens a month or two later when you get
Yeah,
rebound pigment? And then they ask why that's happened. Or it's the
yeah,
treatment
absolutely.
itself,
Actually, the pigmentation treatment, traditional pigmentation treatment, it is very commercial because it's classic. People come to you after the summer with their dark spots, lentigo, whatever. You treat them. In 3 months' time, you kiss goodbye because everything is fine, but you know they will be back. It's like a Terminator. It's always coming back, the pigmentation. So I'm just, my goal, my dream was to cut this vicious circle. And I think in the future, we will get new ingredients, but maybe even more important, and we will get rid of old ingredients.
Oh, I love that. And that's a beautiful final note to leave everybody on. So please come back and join us again. We love having you. Are such a wealth of knowledge. And I'd like to say thank you so much for supporting the Australian beauty and aesthetic industry by being wonderful supplier members of the Aesthetic and Beauty Industry Council. Without your support, we couldn't do the wonderful work that we do to elevate standards, to create benchmark standards for the industry, but also to advocate for our industry and how important it is for every single person having treatment out there and all of our patients.
obviously everything. It's our amazing Meder Australia team, Leah Coughlin, who is absolutely amazing. I love her. And I'm so happy that she and her team supports Australian industry so much. All praise to them.
She's wonderful, and so are you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You've reached the end of another episode of the ABIC podcast, your online support community for the aesthetic and beauty industry. Thank you for listening, and until next time, stay connected.